I'm back. I'm back from vacation. And there may be a time change for the Willie Bragg show same days, Monday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, but I'm thinking I'm going to strive for earlier time period so I can keep my sanity at work. So I'm thinking about that. The more I thought about that, earlier this morning when trying to do a show, I was like, well, maybe I might do, instead of my usual 8 o'clock, I'll probably start trying to do a 7:30 show or 7 o'clock show or maybe 7:15. That's to be, that's to be determined. And it may be an 8 o'clock show tomorrow for all we know. So, yeah, so that's basically, hold on a second. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God. I get these pop-ups here. Okay, so how are you doing tonight, folks? This is another episode of the Willie Bragg Show. We're going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard and her confirmation as the director for national intelligence. And before we do, I will give out my shout outs to all my peeps here at Kameshwari Case. Great seeing you. Oh, excellent. Starting a bit earlier than expected. And it may be a way of life right now for me. That's what I'm sort of anticipating. So we'll see. Hopefully by Monday I'll make a decision about what to do. On a permanent basis. So let's see here. We have Cowboy Kitty. How are you doing today? It's great seeing you. Warren, yo. Whatever good things are happening, and I saw your message this morning on YouTube as to why you're not doing a show for the rest of the weekend. So hopefully those good fortunes will take place, and we're looking forward to seeing your return on Monday on Morning Extra. So there is that. And Commissary Kate says, is that Uma Thurman that I played on the intro, like the prelude music to the show? I have no idea. I think that I just I like the music, I like the vibe, I like the way fine. I just found the young lady attractive and decided, I think to just go with the vibe for the show. So that's what it comes down to. Oi says, Desert Mantis, how are you doing today? Is that Nico from the Velvet Underground? Funny you should ask. I love the Velvet Underground. I love Nico. I love listening to her on her own. Loved her when she was with the Velvet Underground. So sad that she died. She died during my senior year in high school. Actually, after I graduated high school, she died. I was just like, damn, that's a damn shame. So anyway, let's see. Is that me for Halloween? Oh my God. You should have been, I don't know if you were around 23 for the Braglands, but me and Jimmy dressed up as I dressed up as Mitch McConnell, which I'll be talking about today on the show, and she dressed up as Kirsten Cinema for Halloween, and that went pretty well. So let's see. Oh yeah, I'm not going to answer my own question. I did that already. It sort of had a Uma Thurman look from Pulp Fiction. What a great movie. I love Pulp Fiction. My favorite movie of the 1990s probably is Pulp Fiction. I could watch that over and over again. And the movie is so twisted and so damn funny at the same time. And I mean, just, I just love it. I mean, I'm always up for watching Pulp Fiction. I could watch Pulp Fiction over and over all day long. I mean, just all the characters are just so demented and so brilliant in that film. So, but I think Quentin Tarantino is a great. All his movies are, I mean, flawless. But in particular, Pulp Fiction, tops. Love me some Pulp Fiction. Let's see. Say no more, Willie. I don't show your goal. Willie, don't show your goal. Oh, I'll try not to. Let's see. All right. You're looking geometric today. Yeah, I guess. Oh, it's a shirt. Yeah, I bought it the other day. A new shirt, so it's a little tighter than it should be, and it's an X. It's a double X, so a little misleading. But I like the shirt. I just have a few pounds to lose. Good luck. Maybe that'll be my motivation. So, um, okay. All right. We got here. I think that's pretty much everybody here so far. Any newcomers coming along, they'll be here, and we will greet them. So we'll get underway with the show. So Tulsi Gabbard, she's now going to be the director of national intelligence, and I am conflicted myself when it comes to that issue about her being the director of national intelligence. Um, I have all kinds of thoughts in my head, pro and anti, when it comes to Tulsi Gabbard, because she's a very complex individual. She's also a grifter, but that being said, but as I said, Tulsi Gabbard, when I look at it this way too. A lot of people have the views that they have on Tulsi Gabbard solely based on a score that excuse me, let me get rid of that. A score that Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have at each other. And people, the red MAGA and blue MAGA people, they're still, very passionate about the 2016 election. I am from another perspective, and I think we all are, no matter what we think of, who that was cheated in the primaries. But having that said, I never popped my champagne corks when Donald Trump won in 2016, nor did I do that in the year 2024. And I won't. And, but I will say this, I jokingly have said this to some conservatives who hate Barack Obama. I say, you love Donald Trump, but you have to celebrate your support for Donald Trump with basically being also grateful to Barack Obama. And they look at me as like, why would I be grateful to Barack Obama? I said, Donald Trump and Barack Obama got one thing in common. They both prevented Hillary Clinton from becoming president. So, think about it that way. So, just, and that's what this whole Tulsi Gabbard thing is all about. And the way people voted on her confirmation, yay or nay, comes from that as a result of that 2016 election that most people are never going to get over. So, so I'll just we'll basically start with an article from The Guardian. And I just decided to pull a random article out to talk about her confirmation. So, Tulsi Gabbard confirmed as intelligence head despite the fears of pro-Russia stance. Senate approves of nomination of former Democrat as Mitch McConnell is the sole Republican to vote against Trump's pick. And I'm going to discuss Mitch McConnell in a short while. So anyway, Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democratic congresswoman who has been publicly questioned over her affinity for foreign dictators and promoting conspiracy theories, has been confirmed as Director of National Intelligence by the U.S. Senate. The Senate vote was 52-48, with just one Republican, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, voting against her confirmation. Now, I despise Mitch McConnell. Like you can't describe somebody being despised. This Republican Kentucky oligarch represents just about everything I hate about American politics and an American politician. He's one of the most corrupt people you can imagine. And this is separate from what my personal position is on Tulsi Gabbard being Director of National Intelligence. When he voted against her confirmation, I can say he was consistent. That can't be said about all the other Republicans who would normally have been against her at one time. So I will probably be touching on that if I can think about it later. After being sworn in at a ceremony in the Oval Office, Gabbard promised to refocus our intelligence community and replace a common repeated a common Donald Trump talking point that the U.S. intelligence agencies has been used as political tools. Okay, stop clock gets the right time twice a day. It has. Unfortunately, the American people have little trust in the intelligence community, largely because they've seen the weaponization and politicization of an eternal entity that is supposed to be purely focused on ensuring our national security, she says. She added, I look forward to being able to help fulfill the mandate that the American people delivered to Trump very clearly in the election to refocus our intelligence community by empowering great patriots who have chosen to serve our country in this way and focus on ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people, quote unquote. Watching the ceremony, Trump spoke briefly about Gabbard and called her an American extraordinary courage, an American of extraordinary courage and patriotism. My glasses. I need new glasses, by the way. Quote unquote. Gabbard, 43, faced a tense confirmation hearing last month and saw her respond to questions from Republicans and Democrats over her past comments sympathetic to Russia and her defense of the government of former Syrian leader Bashar Assad, who she visited in 2017 while he was under U.S. sanctions. Okay, all right. Bashar al-Assad. What morons out there are cheering the new head of Syria and cheering the ouster of Bashar al-Assad? I'm not saying Assad is a good man, because he lives in Russia now. I'm not saying he's a good man, but what idiots out there would sit there and cheer a fundamentalist takeover of Syria? Only assholes from the U.S. intelligence and defense department and our misguided, in some cases, and in a lot of other cases, really evil politicians in Washington, D.C. That's who. She's not a Russian asset. She's not an Assad apologist. But her mission to visit Assad, I fully supported in 2017. During the hearing, Gabbard refused to call whistleblower Edward Snowden a quote-unquote traitor, partially recanted her views that Russia was provoked into invading Ukraine, and insisted that she had no love for Assad. Now, I'm not going to fault her for saying no love for Assad. He's not a great guy. I can be okay with that. When she basically went back over her position on Russia being provoked into invading Ukraine, I had a red flag, pardon the pun, but because when she was insisting on that previously, she was right. This has nothing to do with any love for Russia or hatred of Ukraine or vice versa. What's happened, the Russians understood when the Soviet Union collapsed that when East and West Germany were reunited and the two Germanys would be a NATO country, That was as far as NATO expansion was supposed to go. The former Eastern Bloc countries, the former Warsaw Pact countries, were not supposed to join NATO. That was the promise, that they were not supposed to join NATO. Well, little by little, each of these countries started joining NATO, and they started to surround Russia. And Ukraine is like, I mean, it was like right there in there, stepping right there on their toes. And again, I'm not saying it was right for Russia to go and invade, but you have to realize where the U.S. were also trying to interfere in the government of Ukraine with the CIA coup in 2014. All that being said, led to this situation between Russia and Ukraine. And probably the only thing that Donald Trump may do right during his presidency is maybe solve this problem quickly. If not to solve, it's not for his own ego. So, and the thing about Edward Snowden, during the hearing where she refused to call him a traitor, good. She needed to defend Edward Snowden, but she wanted that position. So, being said, Republicans have since rallied behind Gabbard, despite the initial doubts over the 43-year-old former Democrat lack of significant intelligence experience. Lisa Murkowski, a Republican senator from Alaska and a potential swing vote, said on Monday that she would vote to confirm Gabbard, noting that despite concerns about certain positions she has previously taken, she believes that Gabbard brings independent thinking and necessary oversight to her new role. Gabbard, a former presidential candidate and military veteran who served in Iraq, has ruthlessly criticized U.S. intelligence community she will now lead. And as I said, I'll have a lot to say about that. As the director of national intelligence, she will oversee 18 intelligence agencies, including CIA and FBI, that employ more than 70,000 people engaged in collating and safeguarding the country's most sensitive secrets. After Gabbard's confirmation vote, the Senate immediately moved to a procedural vote on Robert F. Kennedy's nomination for Health and Human Service Secretary. So that's basically that's it in a nutshell when it came to the position of Tulsi Gabbard and the confirmation vote, that took place. So she is now the director of national intelligence. But she's been all over the place for many, many years. Some of us, including myself in the past, have had some very positive things to say about her. And there are still positive things that can be said about her if she's sincere on occasion. But she's also taken some controversial positions and slided on some positions that she embraced at one point. Well, I saw this tweet today from Due Dissidence, and basically, I don't know which one wrote it. It just sounded like something Russell would put up, but if it was Keaton, this is not it. Sorry, that's not the correct one. Okay. I don't know which one wrote it, but my guess is it was Russell. Regardless, I will find that tweet. Give me a moment. Where the hell is it? Here it is. Tulsi's confirmation is a great victory for everyone on every side of every issue, depending on their career ambitions at any given moment. That pretty much describes Tulsi Gabbard in a nutshell. That Tulsi's confirmation is a great victory for everyone on every side of the issue, depending on their career ambitions at any given moment. So she's taken positions that have been embraced by the the far left in this country, and she's embraced by libertarians in this country, embraced by paleoconservatives and MAGAs, embraced by neocons, embraced by centrist liberal types, embraced pretty much, you name it, across the political spectrum. If there's an ideological spectrum out there, she's taken a position that particular ideology has said, hey, we think it's pretty damn base what she had to say. And that describes her in a nutshell. Very much so. Margarita Ilya said this. This is on Facebook. Okay, give me a second here. We'll find that thing that right here. And this is we're going to go into what I'm going to go into in a moment here. Breaking. Bernie Sanders just voted no on Tulsi Gabbard today. Here's Tulsi Gabbard literally stepping down as vice chair of the DNC for what they did to Bernie Sanders and declaring that she support him for president. The lack of morals from Bernie Sanders is beyond comprehension. Totally agree. Totally agree. Totally agree. And this is what she has to say here from yesterday. Everybody is a mixed bag, but Bernie's reasons are far less principled than a few of our concerns from the left. Tulsi is strongly opposed to war in the Ukraine, which is a very good thing. She's not for Palestine, but honestly, Bernie is not either, as he opposes BDS and the label of genocide for what is undeniably a genocide. Bernie voted in favor of Marco Rubio. That's the thing right there. Mitch McConnell, we know he voted for Marco Rubio. It is to be expected that Marco Rubio voted Mitch McConnell voted for Marco Rubio. What the fuck is Bernie Sanders doing voting for Marco Rubio of all people? And I'm the one that gives Bernie Sanders too much of a free pass. And I'm asking, Bernie, what the fuck are you doing, bro? What the fuck are you doing voting for Marco Rubio? I will understand if Bernie voted no for Marco Rubio and voted no for Tulsi Gabbard. But it makes no sense for him to go and vote yes for Marco Rubio and vote no for Tulsi Gabbard. It still does not make any sense in the year of 2025 for Bernie Sanders to vote yes for Marco Rubio and vote no for Tulsi Gabbard. It makes him look like just another Democrat. You're basically Bernie. You're basically being Elizabeth Warren. And that's not a compliment. Because I have a lot of choice words about that fucking snake. Especially what she did to you in the primaries in 2020. She backstabbed you every which way to Sunday. Why do you want to be like fucking Elizabeth Warren? So it makes no sense. Marco Rubio is the biggest scumbag neocon asshole you can imagine. He's horrible on Palestine. He's going to be horrible. He's going to want to go and beef up a military presence all over the fucking Middle East. Donald Trump is not draining the fucking swamp when he has people like Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. We're talking about Marco Rubio, a Cuban American who basically is okay with keeping the sanctions, harming the people in Cuba. Fuck those sanctions against the Cuban people. Fuck those U.S.-backed sanctions. Fuck it every which way till Sunday. Of all countries around the world to put sanctions against all around the world, the one country that the U.S. put sanctions against that makes the goddamn least sense is against Cuba. I'm not for sanctions around the world, but I'm talking about in terms of what makes sense and what doesn't on a scale of most to least, Cuba is not a threat to the national security of the United States. Cuba doesn't fuck with anybody. When Cuba goes abroad, what do? They provide medical care. They provide teams of medical care around the world. The United States usually provide bombs. Cuba, they go and provide housing for everybody, medical care for everybody, jobs for everybody, education for everybody. And they've done this in spite of the sanctions that's set against them. And I'm not an apologist for every action that Cuba would do. They could do better on civil liberties. But I'm not a tanky. I'm not a Marxist-Leninist. But in terms of Cuba is not a threat to anybody. They're not a threat to anybody. And for the United States to do what they do to Cuba is fucking evil. And I believe in undermining that law, that stupid, retarded law, the sanctions against the Cuban people. This is the piece of shit that Bernie Sanders voted for the fucking Secretary of State. But he couldn't bring himself to vote for Tulsi Gabbard. What the fuck, bro? What the fuck? Bernie, if you're scared they're going to call you a commie, they're going to call you a commie anyway. If you're scared that you're going to be called a Russian asset, they're going to call you a Russian asset anyway. They did in 2016. You're going to retire in 2030. If I were you, I wouldn't give a fuck with it. I'll give the fucking Democratic. Hey, Bernie, when you go against the Republicans, cool. I join you all day long. But you could come out blazing on your way out and tell these fucking Democrats what fucking pieces of shit they are on your way out. Give them something to think about. I'm sorry. I had to get that out of my system. Nothing makes me madder than someone like Marco Rubio. I mean, the only thing worse than Marco Rubio is Florida is Ron DeSantis. Tulsi Gabbard, and I don't have her Facebook post, but Amber DeGrio said here earlier today that of all the Trump's pick, she might be the best pick of everybody in the administration. I have to reluctantly agree. The only thing that would have been better than a Tulsi Gabbard pick would have been a vacant spot for Director of National Intelligence. And we know that if had she not been confirmed, that any pick other than Tulsi would have been less controversial, but it would have been far worse. So that's kind of where I'm at in that regard. So I kind of tend to agree with Max and Aaron from the Gray Zone, and tend to agree with Scott Ritter, the Glenn Greenwald types in that regard. They're right. I'm just not as enthusiastic as they are about it. But the point is that considering what is, considering the situation, I guess that's the best that can be done under the circumstances. Still not happy about it, but hey, I'll say this. If Tulsi Gabbard, since she is going to be Director of National Intelligence, I fucking hope that Hillary Clinton cries at night to sleep. I would love to have that satisfaction that the Hillary Clintons, that the Bill and Hillary Clintons, the Joe Bidens, the Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Adam Schiffs of the Democratic Party go to sleep worrying at night. Tulsi Gabbard, what she's going to do? This is going to undermine NATO. NATO could dissolve. They won't, but that's probably what they're thinking. It could dissolve and peace treaties might take place. It won't happen, but that's what they're thinking. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, we can't have that happening. And the Mitch McConnells and the Liz Cheneys and the Mitt Romneys and the John Boltons, they're predictable. The same old Bush Cheney bunch. I hate them. I hate them the most, but they make the most sense. It makes the most sense for them to be tough on Tulsi, in considering. And again, same thing. If it undermines NATO, it won't. And if it could cause countries to negotiate for peace, that's not going to happen. Oh no, if it undermines the military-industrial complex and our national intelligence, and we can't sit there and spy over the American population. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. What are we going to do? I want them to have that worry, and I look. I hope that Tulsi Gabbard do those things that they're worried about. I hope so. I want to make it known. I hope so. But we know what happened. Tulsi, she's a grifter. People warn me about her being a grifter, and I wouldn't listen. And I got egg on my face about it, and you live what you reap what you sow. So, as I said, I remember when, people, as I said, you have, people like they're not really a good example. I was going to say the Young Turks, but we don't know where they're going these days. Your David Packmans and your Sam Cedars are probably, we know that I don't hear Sam talking too much about Tulsi Gabbard, even though the few times he's been kind of negative, but we know damn sure that Tulsi Gabbard, when it comes to Tulsi Gabbard, David Packman suffers from Tulsi Gabbard derangement syndrome. One of the reasons why I stopped listening to him, one of quite a few reasons. Think about it is that he and someone like some asshole like Mark Levin. When the world made a little more sense a decade ago, someone like David Packman would have been in favor of a Tulsi Gabbard. I guess maybe when she was kind of more of a normie Democrat before the shit hits the fan. And that was a time when Mark Levin was talking shit about Tulsi Gabbard and calling her a Russian asset. He was calling her a Russian asset, calling her an Assad asset. He said she was an asset for Iran. And now, because he was a never Trumper that became a cocksucker for Donald Trump because he's paid to be that way. But so you have people who are kind of just changed their positions according to the times, And so this is where we're at right now when it comes to Tulsi. And as I said, is she the worst in the administration now? No, the absolute worst is Pete Hegseth from the defense secretary. In fact, I think he might have been the worst person in decades or any position. The hatred I have for Pete Hegseth, there's just nothing that could describe it, Having that said, this is where we're at. We are now with Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. How long will she last? I don't know. I've heard Mitt Romney talking about having her arrested for treason. Treason for what? In some ways, there is a little bit of empathy, because, the last administration, regardless of my position on Tulsi, and I would say this about anybody, really, to have the government, to have people spying on you, following you when you're going on a flight somewhere. What the fuck is that about? Well, we know what that's about, and and believe me, if you've seen that in the Biden administration, you'll see that in the Trump administration too. You will see that there too. I promise you that. So, um, that's what I got to say about that. So take it for what it is. Take it for what it is. So let me talk to everybody here on the chat line real fast, and I am going to skedaddle out of here because I got to go and take care of some things right now. Yes, McConnell is a putz. Tulsi is a 1,000% improvement over Avril Haines. I mean, she's not like totally terrible, but I just have a tough time reading her. All right, what do we have here? All right, and we have a Peter Duncan. Yo. Hey Max, sorry Jay. She endorsed Biden over Bernie. Y'all need to stop this, Cowboy Kitty says. That pissed me off when she did that in 2020. I'm like, what the fuck? That was the first cold water splashed on me about her. Really, when that happened. I was just like, and she really never needed to run in 2019, 2020. She would have been just a surrogate. I think all this could have been avoided. Hello, Kiss, says Snipe Hunter. And how are you doing? And Tulsi is kind of a snake, too. A different kind of snake from Elizabeth Warren. Maybe not even worse than Elizabeth Warren. But at this point, I just so hate Elizabeth Warren. Game.film, how are you? Tulsi had a good anti-war message, but turned out to be a fraud. And she is. P-Stub said, Willie is looking very Puerto Rican PR tonight. Yeah, it's not one of those shirts with the pockets, but shirts like this are pretty common there when I come down there. It's been about 20 years. Angel Rivera was on my show recently. We were discussing Puerto Rico, like about 2 weeks ago, I think. Maybe Tulsi will teach Donnie tiny hands to surf. Yeah. Hillary Clinton is John Bolton with a mustache shaved off. Well, Hillary Clinton's just evil. Yeah, I agree, Desert Mantis. Let's see. What do we have here? Do we have any new people here? All right. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for tonight. As I said, I've got some things I have to take care of. I'm going to work early tonight, so that's where I'm at right now. So as I said, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow evening. The Willie Bragg show. I will be here maybe at 8, maybe at 7:30. It may be an 8:00 show tomorrow, but if it isn't, you'll see it. You'll see it being advertised. But I'm thinking about making it probably either a 7:30 show or a 7:00 show. And I got this whole weekend to think about this. So there you have it. And I will say, if you like what you heard, please press like and comment. Any way you disagree with what I have to say, feel free to share this content, this video, and any content I have with others. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Reject corporate media. Subscribe to the Willie Bragg Show. Free and fully pardon Ed Snowden. free Palestine, free health care for all, and for our own self-preservation, we must remain principled and support free speech absolutism at all costs. I'm Willie Bragg. I'm out of here. I will see you all later. Take care. Bye-bye.